Imagine the salty air, the sting of defeat, the sun setting over the Mediterranean. This isn't the triumphant return they envisioned. Cleopatra and Mark Antony, the world's most powerful couple, are sailing back to Alexandria not as conquerors, but as fugitives. Their grand dream of an Eastern Empire, a dynasty to rival Rome, has been shattered in the Bay of Actium. The sea, once their pathway to glory, now whispers of their downfall. They lost not just a battle, but a future. They arrive in Alexandria, the jewel of the Nile, a city of marble and gold. But the vibrant capital feels different now. A shadow has fallen over the palaces and libraries. The air is thick with uncertainty. For Cleopatra and Antony, this city is their last sanctuary, their final stage. They retreat from the public eye, seeking solace not in power, but in each other. Their legendary banquets and lavish parties, once a symbol of their opulent reign, are replaced by something far more desperate, far more profound. In the face of annihilation, their love transforms. It's no longer just a political alliance or a passionate affair. It's a bond forged in the crucible of failure. The defeat strips away the pretense, the titles, the ambitions. What's left is to people clinging to each other against the tide of fate. They form a society of their own, a club morbidly named the Inimitable Livers, which they later renamed the Society of Those Who Will Die Together. It's a testament to their dark humor, but also to their unbreakable pact. They would feast, drink, and love, wringing every last drop of life out before the end. Their days are a strange mix of hedonism and despair. They know Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, is coming. They know Rome's legions are marching, methodical and unstoppable. Every report, every rumor, tightens the new sound their beloved city. Antony, the once unbeatable general, vacillates between fits of rage, deep melancholy, and moments of defiant revelry. He trains gladiators, drinks with his soldiers, trying to recapture the man he used to be. He is haunted by the ghosts of his loyal men who died at sea, and by the spectre of his rival, the cold, calculating Octavian, who represents everything he is not. Cleopatra, ever the strategist, is more pragmatic. She doesn't give in to despair. She tries to secure a future for her children, sending her eldest son Caesarion away, hoping he might escape. She experiments with poisons, testing them on prisoners, seeking a quick and painless exit. This isn't just about suicide, it's about control. She, who had controlled kings and Roman generals with her intellect and charm, would control the manner of her own death. She would not be paraded through the streets of Rome in chains, a trophy for Octavian's triumph. That was a humiliation she would never endure. As the Roman forces close in, hope becomes a flickering candle in a storm. Antony's remaining allies and legions begin to desert him. The loyalty he once commanded, built on a lifetime of shared victories, evaporates under the heat of Octavian's rising sun. He tries one last, desperate gamble. He challenges Octavian to single combat, a heroic duel to decide the fate of the world. Octavian, ever the pragmatist, simply scoffs at the offer. Why would he risk his life when victory was already assured? The rejection is a crushing blow to Antony's pride, another reminder that his time, the age of heroic gestures, is over. The final siege of Alexandria begins. The city's defenses, once thought impenetrable, start to crumble. On a fateful morning, Antony prepares for what he believes will be his last stand. He watches from a high vantage point as his fleet sails out to meet the enemy. But instead of the clash of battle, he sees his ships raise their oars in surrender. Joining Octavian's navy without a fight, his own men have betrayed him. At the same time, his remaining cavalry deserts. The ground has literally vanished from beneath his feet. In that moment of ultimate betrayal, a false rumor reaches him, a devastating message that Cleopatra is dead. Believing he has lost everything, the woman for whom he sacrificed his honor, his reputation, and his empire, Antony's world collapses. He begs his faithful servant, Eros, to kill him. But Eros, unable to strike his master, kills himself instead. Moved and shamed by this act of loyalty, Antony falls on his own sword. The wound is mortal, but death does not come quickly. He lies bleeding, in agony when the truth is revealed. Cleopatra is not dead. She has barricaded herself in her mausoleum, a grand tomb she had built for this very eventuality. Antony, dying, begs to be taken to her. His loyal guards carry him to the foot of the monument. The doors are sealed, so Cleopatra and her attendants let down ropes and pull him up, a final, Herculean effort. Inside the tomb, the last act of their love story plays out. He dies in her arms, the great Roman general breathing his last in the lap of the Egyptian queen. His final words are a plea for her to save herself if she can do so with honor, and to remember him not for his end, but for the glory he once possessed. With his death, Cleopatra is truly alone, a queen without a kingdom, a lover without her partner, facing the man who destroyed their world. Octavian arrives and captures her. He treats her with a semblance of respect, but his intentions are clear. He wants her for his triumph. He wants to show the people of Rome the exotic queen he has vanquished. For a few days, they engage in a battle of wits. Cleopatra, even in defeat, tries to negotiate, to charm, to find a weakness. But Octavian is immune. He is Rome incarnate, disciplined, relentless, and unemotional. Realizing there is no escape, that her fate is to be a spectacle of shame, Cleopatra makes her final move. She dresses in her finest royal robes, lays out a final banquet, and according to legend, has an asp, a symbol of divine royalty and a protector of pharaohs, smuggled to her in a basket of figs. The bite of the venomous snake would grant her the death of a goddess, not a prisoner. It is her last act of defiance, her final assertion of power. She dies as she lived, on her own terms, a queen to the very end. Her two most loyal handmaidens die with her, fulfilling their own pact. When Octavian's guards burst into the tomb, they find her lifeless on a golden couch, dressed as if for a coronation. The love story that had shaken the foundations of Rome was over, but in their tragic end, Cleopatra and Antony achieved a different kind of victory. They escaped the ultimate humiliation and were immortalized not as captives, but as legendary lovers who chose death over dishonor. They were buried together, as Antony had wished, united in death as they were in life. Their story became a legend, a timeless epic for tales of passion, power, and the devastating cost of a love that defied an empire. Thank you for watching.